know.
Yeah, same here. So probably not much to say.
Yeah.
So one thing I thought maybe I could throw out to you guys is I'm kind of doing some research for some things, and I came across PicMig, which is interesting because it seems that there may be some synergies with that group and kind of what we're doing. I think we've been talking about our charter here, and I think we're starting to kind of settle on. We'd work on kind of specifications and use cases and kind of requirements. Um, but what I thought was kind of interesting was to look at what Pikmin was doing and some other things because they're also doing some edge things. So I've been kind of kicking it around, perhaps maybe reaching out to them in some way and seeing if we could kind of build some type of liaison with that group. But I thought maybe I'd kind of throw it out to you all, just something I've been noodling on in my head, and kind of get your guys' thoughts if you guys have even ever looked at PicMig and kind of some of the stuff they're doing with Edge.
What's that organization again, or company?
It's okay. So it's called PicMig, PICMG.
Okay.
And they're the ones that did like the advanced TCA, ATCA, and some of these. Maybe I think you probably maybe even call them precursors for a lot of even kind of some of the telco boxes. So like,
this is like industrial kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of industrial things. Exactly. So kind of seeing kind of like where kind of Edge is going. It could be interesting to, because I came across, it was interesting. I came across it was an article. I wish I've saved it here somewhere. I could maybe I'll send it in the mail group. But they were talking about, they said, the goal is to kind of become, the OCP of kind of the industrial control space. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, that might be interesting to kind of reach out to them and see, is there something we could do collectively?
So I get the impression a lot of their stuff was like industrial or manufacturing floor plan stuff.
Yeah, like embedded controllers and those kinds of things.
Yeah, and
Hey, John, you said the PICNG?
PIC. Okay, so it's the website's picmg.org.
Oh, MG, Mary. Okay.
Yeah, Mary George.
Oh, okay. Mary.
It's an industrial group that does standards for, I think it's like for modular controllers or module CPUs or stuff like that. So they take all the same kind of technology that we put into data centers and telcos, and they put them into industrial environments, hardened equipment.
Exactly.
Low latency for machine inspection or machine control. So one of the interesting overlaps with that is with private 5G, right?
Yeah.
Which one?
So I'm sure they were big users of initially local LAN, and then Wi-Fi in factories. But yeah, it's hard. It's a more hardened environment, industrial.
Right.
When something breaks, they need to replace it pretty quickly because it's on a real time manufacturing environment.
Yeah, so like a lot of what you're hitting on, Lauren, there is kind of the crossover. Right, and so
that may extend to things like stadiums and other stuff like that too, where there's probably even more overlap necessarily with Edge.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of brought this up to the steering group, the OCP steering group. When was the last time we talked to them? Probably just before. I think it was the second to last week of June, and you know, it's kind of like, you know, what are the thoughts there? You know, is it you know, and so there was some thought, you know, that it could be complementary, and perhaps we could, you know, try to, you know, even kind of drive it in kind of a complementary way, with kind of some of the things that you know, we're starting to talk about with this edge group, right? Because we're kind of going a little bit beyond the telco use case. You know, the use case that John Paul Smets had is really kind of more this industrial, you know, it's kind of that industrial bent. And it's also kind of some of the things that I've been looking at, in my other life, if you will.
It'd be interesting to you know, at least do the first pass of kind of environmental deployment scenarios. I know
Right.
because we've done, you know, OCP's typically done obviously data center stuff. We've done kind of edge or telco related stuff, but it's really kind of been more, what do I want to say, or central office, which is kind of the next level up in terms of environmental stuff, right? It's a little bit higher temperature, a little bit more humidity, a little bit more shock vibration,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. But the industrial stuff is like even a further step up from that, right? In terms of what they focus on in terms of kind of deployment environments or environmentals for deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah, since a lot of cases from industry IoT from PSMG, so it's
IoT, yeah.
yeah, at most it's a complementary to technical edge part. Also, industry IoT is a little bit different. If you talk about the ambient IoT, maybe that one make a lot of sense. Yeah, in the industry IoT, as I think Lauren mentioned,
I
yeah,
think
it's
the
more
PCI and stuff has a lot in common with like in the telco space, putting stuff in outdoor cabinets.
Yep.
And you know, the place where that overlaps, right, is um, that space of outdoor cabinets or industrial stuff. For me, a lot of it has to do with how does that morph into how do you support AI inference out there on those edges appropriately, or you know, as required and such.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's kind of the overlap point from a, you know, stuff flowing out of OCP related to AI/ML. How far out does it flow, and does it overlap with somebody what PCIMG, you know, is traditionally focused on in terms of, you know, deployment environments or specifications for those or interoperability, or I'm sure they got a lot of modularity as well, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, so that's where, you know, kind of, you know, we had the talk, you know, in the telco group last month about you know, the modularity pieces, and then
Yeah, do you know if that session ever got put online as a recording yet?
I haven't seen it, and I've had several people ask me about it. We got to kind of track that down and see if we get the recording, because yeah, I've got several people that have been reaching out to me who have the recording, and I know it was recorded. I just don't know where those recordings go.
I found the place where they go. They just don't seem to appear very quickly. Do you know, Craig, how fast that happens?
No, I saw the link. I shared it with John, but it seems to go nowhere.
Yeah,
I
it goes nowhere.
got a little email that said, "Here's the recording," but it didn't seem to do anything.
Hmm.
Is that something I could reach out to Kevin?
Probably he would be the person.
Okay. I'll reach out to Kevin and see if we can track that down, because I've gotten several people asking me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, Craig, I know when you sent it, and I tried to open, it's like, oh, that's weird, it just kind of goes nowhere. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll wait a little bit, but it was like still going nowhere. But I haven't checked it now in a couple weeks, so maybe I'll check it again. Maybe it is eventually it'll show up there. But yeah, so I was thinking when I was looking at this, I was thinking maybe I could reach out to see if I can find somebody there and invite them perhaps to talk on our edge thing and see maybe that can we can maybe drive some cross pollination and get a little bit more activity in our edge team here, and kind of we've been kind of talking about expanding our where our work is kind of being expanded in terms of these other use cases that are going kind of beyond telco to some degree. So that's kind of what I was noodling around with, and I was thinking what you all thought, if that would be something that you think would be beneficial.
Let's see. Where's slow coming up? The YouTube link to the June 6th telco meeting. Nope. There it is.
Is it actually there?
I have, let's see. Oh yeah, it is there.
Oh, good. Okay. So it just takes a while then, I guess, for these things to kind of show up.
2 or 3 weeks probably for them to get it formatted, and it ends up on YouTube actually.
Oh, okay.
So there's a link in the wiki page for the telco project, the wiki for telco.
Okay.
There's a link in there to previous recordings, and that gets you to the list of previous recordings. And the latest one there is from June 6, 2024, and it's the MHS work group.
Oh, great. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Huh.
Let's see.
Previous calls. Oh yeah. All right, there it is. Oh, perfect. That is fantastic. Yeah, so I guess it takes about 3 weeks then before that shows up.
Cool. I will spend some time today looking at that.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, and we had kind of an interesting discussion there at the end. You'll see we were kind of talking about some stuff. I need to review.
Yeah, I put the link in the chat box if anybody wants to just go directly there.
Okay. So let's see. Are my edge ones showing up? Because my edge ones are lagging quite a bit. Let's see what's in the edge ones.
It's possible that they're in that same group area because both the Edge and Telco share the same.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just look for the date.
Okay, because the last thing I see in the wiki ends March 12th, 2024. All right, so yeah, I'll dig through that YouTube then.
The Edge wiki or the Telco wiki?
The Edge wiki. So like if you look at the Edge wiki, the last one, it's a little different format because it actually has like every single past call, but it ends March 12th, 2024. Where on the Telco Wiki, it just says, link to previous recordings.
Yep. That's weird. That's a different format, right?
It's a different format, yeah.
Structure. That's weird.
And I don't know who's maintaining this because I updated some of the stuff on here, but I haven't touched those things. But like this March 12th is there, so. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Hey, just a quick question, John. Since you mentioned about collaboration with some other STOs, like a standard drug organization like the PCMG, I'm wondering whether there are any interest with ORAN. I think there are technical hardware groups within ORAN, trying to do some specification for technical edge.
Are you saying ORAN?
Yes,
ORAN?
ORAN.
Yeah.
ORAN, not Open RAN. ORAN, just ORAN Alliance. Because I know some of my partners working in that groups, the hardware groups within ORAN Alliance. Yeah, if you want, I can approach to them and ask the latest progress to see whether we can do something.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
That would be great.
ORAN, they try to do some disaggregated RAN, with ODU, OCU, or
Right.
RU, all kinds of things. But in order to do that, they have to do some specification for technical edge hardware. So, that's one.
Right.
Yeah, I can. I think some time ago, OCP did have some use cases with ORAN, and from the Telco Edge group. That was maybe 2 years back.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can chat with the ORAN, corresponding ORAN working group to see.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great because I think
Okay, sure.
because we had that one keep wanting to say a Crano. It's not a Crano. It's Starling X. The Starling X folks reached out to us, right? So we kind of had them talk. That's what kind of started getting me like, oh, that might be interesting to see if we kind of maybe did some outreach and
we contributed a lot of verbiage to the work group 5, ORAN work group 5 for the open hardware, so that the OCP, Open Edge was compliant with the ORAN. We wrote a substantial part of their document on the open hardware.
Right, that was Nokia's document. Yes, you just remind me. So, correct.
Well, I mean, it was all the OCP stuff but yeah, it was in work group 5 though.
Okay. Yeah, I can
all
check
the contributions. Yeah. It was written in such a way that it was open for a lot of different types of hardwares, but we ensured that the Open Edge was compliant with the specs.
Okay.
Or rather, the specs were compliant with Open Edge, if you want to look at it that way.
Okay. That means there are a lot of engagement with ORAN already. Or maybe. Anyway, I can check with them to see, from their perspective.
Yeah, that would definitely be welcome for sure.
Sure. Hey, John, by the way, what is the Telco Project call you post there? It's like the first week of each month. Is that right?
Yeah, so we got Lauren on the call. So it's a little bit odd because alternates. Craig or Lauren, can you guys maybe articulate better how that works?
Maybe it's gone already.
Uh,
Okay,
I'm
no
sorry.
problem. I can check. Yeah.
But
Okay.
are you talking about the timing of the telco group call?
The Telco Project call, I think.
Yeah,
which is
so
the
basically the call was on the first Thursday of the month in where the call was to occur. So basically every other month is based, 1 month is based in US time zone and the other is based on an Asian time zone. And so the one, when it's based on the Asian time zone, it's the first Thursday, but because they're ahead of the United States, it ends up, but the call happening on Wednesday in the afternoon and evening.
Oh,
okay.
But it's during the working time in Asia. So that, each month, either the Asian community is in their daytime and the US is in their evening and Europe is in the middle of the night, or it's daytime in the US at noon, which makes it evening in the Europe, but then in the night in Asia. And so that's done in order to take into account the different, the global aspects of the telco group when it was formed.
Thank you, Craig.
yeah. I would not have known why that flips between a Wednesday and a Thursday and all that. So that's really interesting.
But it's always Thursday, the first Thursday, but it's Thursday of the targeted group.
Right. Okay.
US or Asia.
Interesting.
So it's still the first Thursday for the folks who are in Asia. And I think you could probably say that in Asia, it's the first, it alternates between Thursday and Friday. But anyway, that's the historical reason for that call time. There are several of the OCP groups had that cadence in the early days.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was like a standard OCP group call times.
Okay.
What I observe on the Linux Foundation side, there are two related. One is RF networking, where the ORAN project sits, and there's also RF Edge. So it looks like the telco stuff is mostly in the RF networking side. So RF Edge is kind of separated from the main telco projects. In other words, if you talk about telecom, it's mostly networking. Edge is kind of put a separate group.
Yeah. Because that starts to become a little bit more application focused, right?
I believe the networking telco is mostly about how to provide the network infrastructure, whether it's line, wired or wireless, 5G, private 5G, whereas the edge is focused on the actual, as I said, it's use cases, applications, the actual devices. Actual edge network.
Right. So yeah, if it makes sense for everybody, then I'll see if I can reach out to someone of the picnic group and see, if they're interested in kind of maybe coming to talk to us about what they're doing with Edge and, seeing if there's, things that we can do to, maybe even perhaps contribute, use cases and requirements and things, that kind of would derive out of some of the things that we end up kind of talking in here. Ideally we'd be driving towards, kind of common industry standard type things for whatever, whether it comes out of OCP or pieces of it come out of PICMIG. But I see kind of this industrial edge is kind of an extension to and a complement to what we're talking about from a telco edge perspective. And then Tianji, if you wanna talk to the folks back on your side, and they do, you
Yes.
can kind of fill us in next month on what you kind of find out.
Yes, I'm going to talk to overrun people.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that sounds great.
Okay, thank you. See you next week. No, next month.
Next month, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about? All right. Well, if not, then maybe we can cut it short a little bit this month and give everybody some time back. And I guess we'll see you all next month. Anything else? Last call?
Okay, thank you, John.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you next month.
Bye.
Bye-bye.